Where'd you get that?
Purple Shrimers.
How is this even profitable?
See for yourself.
People are buying these? They just need to see the difference.
What do you think I've been doing out there, huh? Store after store, day after day. The craftsmanship. It's so durable, it can hold a 300-pound man. Pass it down to your grandchildren someday. You have my personal guarantee. I tried every angle, Jay.
I know, Rich, I know.
One of the many businesses Rich and Jay had started by their mid-20s was a toy company selling high-quality handmade wooden toys. They had secured investors and were building a large business. But with cheap plastics flooding the market, the Grand Rapids Toy Company was struggling to keep afloat. This failure could have ended their partnership, but the pair believed there was something out there for them. They just had to find it.
Some of the early things that Jay and Rich did were born out of a lot of support from their families.
My father was born in 1924. From the time that he could really start to remember things, the crash happened, and that would be his first experience in what would be the defining decade, I think, of his life. Growing up in Grand Rapids during that period of time, massive layoffs of people and foreclosures and banks going out of business and all those types of things had a dramatic impact.
My dad and his parents had to move back into their parents' home. And that's just what you did. Family took care of each other and family lived together, but that was just an indication of how difficult things were.
He grew up, with not having much money at all, but nobody had any money, so nobody knew any difference.
If you look at the hardships they faced, shaping them as children living through that historic period, I believe it influenced them in many different ways.
My great-grandfather was a huckster. He sold vegetables in the street. My dad would walk with him from time to time and try to make a sale.
My grandfather was in the car business at the time, so I was very fortunate that he was in a business that put them in a little different spot, I think, than most. And they were able, through hard work and diligence to be able to survive that period.
This idea of having a business of your own, Jay's dad had that. He was in the car business, and my grandfather didn't. He worked for a company, and I think my grandfather saw that and said, well, that's the sort of thing, get into business for yourself.
Those were a lot of the things that seemed to be very, very significant in shaping their history.
That kind of shifted into the onset of World War II. And those are the things they talked about. We're going to get business together. We want to do this. We're going to go forward here.
During the war, my father and Rich would keep in contact. And there was a comment that my dad made to Rich while he was writing this letter. And he says, Rich, I just want you to remember, this war is not our zenith. We're destined for great things. I don't know what those are, but when this war is done, then we get to do our thing. And so that sets the stage for them when they do get out of the war of starting a business.
I don't think they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They sure weren't going to wait around for it to be dropped in their laps or for somebody to hand it to them.
They were not ones to step back and go, well, just hang around and wait for a while, They were the ones to say, well, what are you going to do? They were action-oriented.
There's always, let's figure it out. We don't know how to do this, but let's do it anyways, we'll figure it out. That's just, that was their personality.
They had all these little ventures. They had paper routes, selling ice cream, charging kids a few cents for rides to school. And then they just kept going.
They got into stuff they knew nothing about.
They were trying to find the things that were gonna stick. They thought at the time that the toy business would be a good business. They had a high quality product. It was something that everybody could buy, but the marketplace just wasn't interested in that at that point in time. And so it turned out to be a flop. But it wasn't something, oh, we failed at this, we're total failures. Absolutely not. What'd they do? Let's go try something else, see what that is.
If people weren't buying something, then it's time to move on and change course.
Jay and Rich bought a plane without even seeing it while they were still serving in the war. And then they started a flight school without really even knowing how to fly.
One of the pitches for the flight school was, if you could drive a car, you can fly a plane. That sure sounds like my dad. Their idea was, let's help people find a new perspective and a new possibility for their future.
They didn't wait for it to happen, they made it happen.
They hired the instructors that were needed. They found the local airport here in Grand Rapids that was going to be built. It wasn't built yet. They said, we just have to find a solution, right? The airport's not done. We've got customers. We're spending money. We gotta make sales here, right? So they bought the floats and flew the planes off the river.
They kept trying different things for various reasons. I don't know the restaurant business, because they saw that drive-in restaurant in California. They thought it'd be a good idea. They didn't know anything about restaurants.
Did the flight school in the daytime, and at night they opened the Riverside Drive-In.
So my dad used to say, 9 to 5 is when you put a roof over your head, but 5 to midnight is when you get ahead. So they were literally working around the clock.
The excitement that they always had was doing something new and different and trying it and just seeing what would happen. Sometimes it worked, and most times it doesn't.
It's really about humans flourishing, right? It's about putting yourself out there, taking a risk, and seeing what you can do with it.
I think their wooden horse product is a good example of one of their values. That they were always about making sure that the products they offered were quality, were going to be built to last, built for an important purpose, and guaranteed. They were always looking for the next thing, always adjusting and adapting and open to new ideas for their business. They knew that whatever business they were going to be in, the two of them could make it happen, and they sure did.
A man of long experience in life said it this way: every day you wait, you lose. All my life I've been planning and hoping and thinking and dreaming and loitering and waiting. All my life I've been getting ready to do something worthwhile. And that's the story of many people, isn't it? Indecision, you see, is decision the wrong way. And sooner or later, you have to act.
My father taught me through his example, without taking initiative, 9 times out of 10, nothing's ever going to happen.
My dad, he was pretty confident that you could do anything if you put your mind to it. And if that wasn't going to work out, then you just better do something else. Don't stop. Just try something new.
It was up to them. They couldn't look to anybody else. They had to do it. They had to figure it out. And that's who they were.
You gotta look in the mirror. I mean, if there's something going on and if something's not right, that's the first place you look at yourself as to why things are the way they are. And then what are you gonna do about it?
It's up to us to make things grow, to help things succeed. We know it's our responsibility.
They just rolled up their sleeves and got to work. And I think that's the lesson for all of us. Don't wait for the perfect plan or for someone to give you permission, but take ownership, take initiative. If you see a gap, fill it. If you have an idea, chase it. It's your life, it's your move. They taught us that responsibility isn't a burden, it's truly an opportunity. And when you really own that, there's no limit to what you can do.